Here we are for another round of monthly analysis on Colquitt's Corner. Here we are today, November 3rd, Elections Day. Super excited because, well, it means the markets will do something. And usually around the elections, we can see one way or another. And I'm actually still pretty bullish overall and super excited about being bullish, regardless of how the votes fall. So let's see what happens here. Let's take a look at the chart because ultimately at the end of the day, that's what I go by. We can use fundamental news all we want. More than welcome. Not knocking those guys, but at the end of the day, I'm going to let the chart help me make my final decision. So let's get into that chart and take a look here. We are looking at the S&P 500 monthly. You can see here it has held this level that we discussed over multiple monthly analysis here. And it's doing a great job. I mean, we are coming right back up. We are headed towards that area. So we will see what's going on here and go from there. We have currently opened up in November and quickly retracing a lot of the losses from last month. So, you know, opening bar, only a couple days in, you need to factor in that fact. But you can see here, there is some volatility in play, okay, especially here on the monthly. If you see that big of a bar and we're only a couple days in, I mean, this could easily come back down, close below. We could even go below this. But the key thing is the October bar here, okay? You can see we held this level and it closed above it. That's what I want to see. We're opening above it and going back up. So starting off on a positive side, but still, it's only November 3rd, and tomorrow and the following week we will see what's going on and how people really feel about these markets. I'm still feeling pretty bullish and positive, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what we all think. It's just the overall analysis here that we see. So let's get a little bit lower look at the weekly here and see how much strength is behind all those thoughts. Again, here you can see we keep bouncing off that same level as the chart comes back in, and we're holding that level. We have a breakout here on the weekly that's been struggling to get going, but it has not officially been stopped out. If you follow the green dots here, according to my indicator that I use here from imtftrade.com, you can see that we're still in play on this. Now, it's not making higher highs, but it's not really getting lower lows. We're in this weird consolidation pattern here. All right, clearly we need to figure some things out, and that's hopefully what will resolve itself here shortly. I would like to see us get above this line here, this red line here, to get more into a positive, more into a stronger bullish sentiment. But right now we're stuck between these two levels that I have marked off here, okay? So I will not take any bullish trades as of yet until I get above here, and then I'll start looking to go into, you know, the next level and start trying to break some of these pivots and break forward. But again, I want to see what happens here at the end of the week. See if we can close above it and get some signs of opening up above it the following week. If you take a look here at the daily, it's just going to really show that consolidation pattern a little bit more entail the story of. You can see, look, we've trended. We got going into this little bit of a wave pattern here. It rode into the cloud. You know, it showed some bearish strength here. It didn't even touch this green line or pull back to it. Went to the cloud, came back up, okay, rode the top of this cloud or along the edge of this cloud here, broke out, set up a breakout scenario, but did not even get close to triggering it. Fell back down through the cloud again, triggering another breakout scenario, but not quite getting to where we are breaking any lows or any highs here. So again, we are consolidating. And the thing I like about consolidations, especially if we're looking at this thing long term, okay, regardless whether we go bullish or bearish, regardless of how I feel positive about being bullish, what I do like even more than those feelings is seeing these consolidations, because consolidations lead to new trends. So we're winding up almost like a corkscrew here, and as it gets narrower and narrower and narrower, it's eventually going to build more momentum to pop. Okay, so keep that in mind as we wave back and forth here over the next couple weeks, trying to figure out what we're doing. Now, in the meantime, there's going to be a lot of volatility in between in here. So when you're playing short-term stuff, just keep that in mind. Okay, so keep your stops tight. Okay, and be realistic with your targets. Get in and out. Try not to shoot for the moon just yet until we can get to either one of these ranges of the consolidation and break free, and then you can look at some more long-term 4-hour daily, you know, weekly type plays and so on. So just be smart about it. Let's take a look at the 4-hour, okay, and see what's setting up here on a short-term level, okay. This is very bearish, right? Like I said, I wanted to get out through here. So what we're probably going to see here is this thing bounce up to here. We will probably hit this resistance. Okay, you can see along here we have some areas where it's touched a few times, where it's become both support and resistance. And then we're coming up here to the edge of the cloud. We'll probably see if we can break out of the cloud, but our momentum strength is still not enough there to go bullish. So you'll see some pullback. How far back will the pullback be? Will be based on some levels. I'll come back through here throughout the week once I see that we have established a pivot, and where that pivot is established, if we get a pullback, I'll start looking at maybe some pullback levels, and look at some of the smaller time frames to look to just basically short-term playing within ranges, right? That's essentially what we're looking at here. So that is our breakdown of the S&P 500. Let's go take a look at gold. All right, gold has been on an exceptional run here all through this 2020 pandemic. Even before that, you can see it pop up. It's going straight up. And now it's overextended, hence this little black dot. We've had some pullbacks, and as you can see, we actually pulled back to the top of this pivot. That's why I left it out long like that. I want to show you guys here. And honestly, I would have marked off here at one of these close, right? And you can see that we're holding even higher than that, okay? Apologies. And you know, that's showing some really strong bullish strength, right? Even though we got a little bit of an overextension dot. So be careful going long, but it is still showing some bullish signs. But look at this nice long trend, okay? So I'm a little worried about trying to keep going bullish just yet, all right? I would like to see a little bit more of a pullback, maybe to some of these levels here, down here, and then go back up. But you can maybe look at some more short-term bullish positions. All right, let's go take a look at the weekly and see what's going on here with this little bit of a breakdown. You got it sitting right there on the Cajun. The Cajun seems to be holding very well, okay? I do have a cross right here that I like, that's significant out of some of the other crosses. And you can see we are holding that level pretty strong. We do have some other black crosses in here as well. So clearly we have some resistances that we have to fight to get up. So getting into this bullish is a little bit of a concern unless you are just playing some real quick short-term cash, get in and out, because you can see here we've got some obstacles to really break before we can even get back. So again, finding ourselves within a range. Okay, we have a range here, a support, and then we also have a resistance here at the highest before we can even consider some more long-term bullish trades. I don't know why I was struggling to get that out. But again, looking here, we got this little bit of a consolidation, kind of winding down, bearish, winding down consolidation, right? You're getting a little bit tighter in that wind, even though it's still moving gradually down. We are below the cloud here. We have set up a shaded area, which is a setup for a breakout, but it is taking way too long to break out bearish. It's still trying to make up its mind. All right, but again, here you can see that level's marked off here, and we just really need to get on the other side of this cloud. All right, right now it looks like it's more likely to set up bearish than it is bullish for the moment. So please keep that in mind. Let's take a look at the 4 hours, see if the 4 hours is trying to set itself up. We are coming up on some resistance here. You can see these little peaks immediately before the cloud popped in. We come up to here, and we got some, a little bit more of a defined resistance up here in these levels. All right, you see how a lot of these crosses along here, so you can mark off that level where we're currently at, also this level here. So you got a few things to break before you go bullish. You probably see a pullback before you see some bullish momentum. We got to get our strength on the other side of this cloud, and right now we are stuck in a consolidation area. So really choppy, messy, short-term, quick, tight profits if you are going to dare to trade this. The risk is high, just like the ES. Just be careful out there, all right? Let's see here. Let's go take a look at crude oil. Let's get to this monthly. Okay, so we were discussing about this being super bearish. You can see we've got some bullish uptrend so far. But again, we're just opening up for the month, and there might just be some excitement overall, but still bearish. All right, key thing is this level here. Looks like this level turned out to be a major resistance and held. Now we're getting below here. You can see I've got some IMTF crosses in here as well. Let's see here. Well, now let me bring to the forward. Okay, anyway. But super important that we want to take a look at these, all right, as now new resistance that we have to break. So we got a lot of resistance to break in order to get bullish. So we're still pretty bearish on this. Let's take a look at some of the lower time frames, and you can see the weekly has come off, same thing, just kind of in this consolidation though. And we see the T-consent and the K-consent here converging. Okay, now if these flip bearish, that's going to be a huge deal to help set up to go bearish. Okay, so keep an eye on that, right? Because right now these items are bullish. When the Tinkerson is above the Cajunson, that's a bullish scenario, but we are still below the cloud, so what you're getting is conflicting stories, okay, which really result into the sidewinding consolidation that you see right now. And you really need to get all those levels within the right order to give you that strength of the bullish, right? That's super important. All right, but again, here we're riding along the edge of this cloud here, coming down, and let's take a look at the daily, see if we can get a little bit more of synopsis and understanding of this consolidation. You know, here's some lows. We broke a little bit above it, but we're still not quite doing that awesome. We did have a bullish breakout that never triggered, and now we're bearish, and hadn't quite set up a bearish breakout yet. But again, you can just see, look at these. Here, it's not shaded, but this is actually a little breakout area. This is a little breakout. So we had a bearish, bearish, bullish. Now we're going bearish again. And again, just going back to that whole philosophy of the consolidation winding up like a corkscrew to pop. So again, you know, there's a lot of timing elements on the higher time frame that are super important. And you want to watch these lower time frames when that consolidation sets up within that higher time frame. Timing as well as some nice little breakouts happening, man. You got some, that's the whole term multi-time frame comes from the IMTF world. So let's see here. Let me take a peek at the 4 hour, keep it consistent. All right, you can see here just before the cloud comes in, you have the pivot here, right? And we're coming right up on that. We're still below this cloud, so we're super bearish. I mean, we're not even close to this SKB and breaking out on it. So you know, again, just coinciding with the higher time frames of just super bearish. Even the 4 hour here, you can see we had a nice little breakout here, and it's still in play all the way down to here and got stopped out. So, you know, you could have played this thing for some profit, gone down. Its targets here on the preserve mode are just a little bit above where your stop was. So you could have taken some profit off here, wrote it down even further, and then maybe tighten up your stops. So what this indicator does that I really like through the IMPF trade is set you up your entry and your stop in your preserve mode. But once you pass this preserve mode, you have the option of taking off some profits, right? And then what the green dots follow along the green line here. Once it hits that preserve move, it moves it to the red line here, right? So now you're capturing profit here and you're getting out here, which I really like. So it tightens up your stop once you get past preserve mode. And you can see here, you could have, you know, really milked this thing for what it's worth. And now the trend is over, and we're getting into, you know, essentially this little consolidation start, maybe possibly of a consolidation, or it could come back through. Either way, it's the trend's over with. So let's go take a look at good old Bitcoin. All right, so we marked off some levels, as you can see here. And again, you know, I've said this time and time again, we're in this huge consolidation range, okay? And we are at the top of this consolidation range, really trying to break some new highs here, which is, you know, pretty good here. Of all these people that were in here that held, those hodl people, whatever that term was that people hold on to. So you touched it again here, came back down, and the key thing is here, we are making higher highs as we move up, all right? So if we do get a pullback here, let's say this holds and we hold here, I would look at this level here. I would love to see that hold right around here above the top of this cloud to continue to keep going bullish if this thing is what everybody wants it to be, and keep going, okay? But we need to see those signs, right? And we want to see a continuation of these lower pivots getting higher and higher and eventually breaking the top of this range. And once we break it, what we want to see next, right? So we get the pullback here, it holds, we break it, and then when we want to see is this, boom, pull back to this level and hold to confirm this once resistance is now a support. Then I would, for you guys that want to go long, that would be it. That would take that thing to wherever y'all think y'all's going to go, to the moon, to Mars with Tesla and good old Elon Musk and all you Bitcoin guys. I love you guys a lot. And I'm also going to drop a link to a really cool Bitcoin video a friend of mine did, which really breaks down pretty well on that and economy with Rich Clark. So look for that in the comments. I mean, sorry, in the little bio area. Check that out. I think he does a great job. And he runs a Bitcoin community here in Georgia, so I definitely want to promote him. All for promoting people. Let's see here. Let's go take a look at the weekly here and take a look at this big consolidation range. All right. If I'm not mistaken, there was a breakout here. Yeah, sure enough, there was the breakout. It's still good. It's going. It did try to come below the Tinkerson, but never got stopped out. Remember I was talking about following these green dots? And we're getting up here, and hopefully once we hit these, if we do, we hit this preserve mode, your stops will tighten up. So if you guys are looking long, there's some good areas for you to consider as far as where to get out and so on, take off some profits, things like that. So be aggressive on that. Bitcoin's got a lot of volatility to it. You can see here it's moving up the range, and let's go take a look at the daily and take a closer look at this trend that's going on here. Same thing here on the and this is an ideal setup here. You know, I like the percentages. I like what we got going on here. I like some of the values here. If you follow the IMTF trade, you can see here we have reached the preserve mode, so our stops have tightened up here, and we're still holding above this Tinkerson, man. That's a strong, even though we're getting some overextension dots. Look how we're holding this red line here. So we are getting a little bit of like a slowdown here and kind of playing around, but we're still above that Tinkerson. So keep an eye on it. I wouldn't give up profits just yet, but definitely, you know, get your stops ready and keep tight just in case it does collapse. You can at least get some of that profit in there. Let's take a look at the 4 hour and see if we can understand that little bit of a consolidation range right there at the top of the Tinkerson. You can see here at the top, oop, I'll move one of those lines. Let's see here. Boop. You can see here that we have that kind of a little sidewinding but bullish somewhat consolidation. It's floating above the top of the cloud here. It's just consolidating here along this Tinkerson and Cadenson. You'll probably see a little bit more of this understanding of this consolidation on the 2 or 1 hour here. Probably the 1 hour give you a little bit of better synopsis. You can probably see a breakout on the 1 hour when this consolidation is coming to an end. And you know, we're just floating around in it, so just be careful. You got some indecisions in here you can look, and so on. So yeah, I would just be very careful. A lot of volatility in the Bitcoins. I think it's what a lot of people are attracted to, but just, you know, volatility comes danger too. So look, guys, that sums up our monthly analysis, and super excited seeing you guys here coming up with after the elections and see what this market does. But be careful out there, guys. A lot of volatility in there in all the sectors, particularly you can see in the ES here in the Bitcoin. And hey, play smart. I can't say enough, man. Evaluate your risk before your reward, because you truly will not understand your reward without understanding your risk. Okay. The other thing I need you guys to consider is 100% have a game plan. Know where you're getting in and where you're getting out, because once you're in the market, you got no control over that. Okay. So don't be foolish with that, because this market's doing everything it can to take your money. So you got to be on your A game at all levels. Let me tell you, any of my errors or losses, all that stuff stem from me making mistakes. Not so much the market, but myself just doing stupid stuff, getting greedy, and so on. So it's bad enough the market's trying to take all my money, and then I turn around and just willingly give it to my stupidity and error. So please, speaking for myself, being a retail trader, have a game plan, know what you're doing, get in, get out, take that money and run. You know how much money you're willing to play with. I know how much I'm willing to stomach to lose. So based on that's what I'm willing to play on my time frames. You got to figure that out for yourself too. So again, thank you guys. Like and subscribe, all that great stuff. Yada yada yada. Peace.